right, how's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. First off, right off the bat, watch Bill and Ted Face the Music. It was utterly fantastic. If you enjoy the first two Bill and Ted movies, this one is a very satisfying conclusion. I've watched it, I think, 4 times now, and the good bits I've watched I don't know how many times. But definitely worth picking up if you have any interest in Bill and Ted. That's my free little promo. They are not sponsoring this video, but that's my free little promo here as we kick off. Also, real quick, before we get into this big guy right here and smack the camera around, because, hey, that's what we have to do at least once a video. People asked about Metalhead's mouth. It does, in fact, open. It's just when it's fully closed, it was actually pushed up just enough where I couldn't get my thumbnail, the way the ridge on his, the way these corners come together. I kept trying to get in there, and it kept kind of, as I got right up to the edge, it kind of ramping me off. But you can't open his mouth. And actually, there wasn't even a whole lot of resistance. I just couldn't get my thumbnail into the little gap to open it up because it's very tight. But once you get it going, it's actually very easy to move, and so you can't open his mouth. So just a quick update there. Anyway, on to Perfect Effect NEMESIS or Dark GORIRA, a version of their Optimal Optimus figure with clearly his Season 1 regular Optimus Primal color scheme, the blacks and blues and grays and silvers and whites. And it's very striking. I like it a lot. We're going to go through I'll show all his modes. I'm not going to do the full transformation between each one just because we've already done that with the main GORIRA video. Also did pick up Psycho Knight, aka Cryotech as well. And there's no way they're going to fit in the shot together. But we'll show them off in robot mode together at the end of his video. And we'll talk more about him either. But he was also in stock, and I never actually owned an original Cryotech, so I figured why not. Anyway, the big beefy boy here. He's a big beefer. Just a big beefer. Now, one of the things... Well, he's coming clipped again. So he's clipped in. It's the same articulation. He does have these giant wings, and I found out how to actually pop these pins out because they only go in one way. There's no hole here, and I found a way to pop them out very easily without destroying anything. It's basically just these little slots here. The pins never go all the way down. You just got to get like a small tool in there and just kind of push them up through until you get enough that you can just pull it out. But I'll probably pop the wings off. I want to, since I have that 3D printer, I swear to God, I've had this where in a position where he actually does not keep coming in clipped from this. But because the only thing really holding him together is this clip on his backpack, which is still one of the flaws from the original. But anyway, what I'll probably do is pop these wings off, and I'm going to try to, since it's just a simple circle here, I'm going to try to, mostly simple circle, I'm going to try to 3D model a replacement disc for in here so I can just pop this apart and put a disc in that doesn't have these tabs, because for Primal, I don't really need all 4 modes. Like for this color scheme, Gorilla and Robot is really all I need. And if he keeps the bonus truck mode, great. But we'll see. I haven't 100% decided on that because I transformed him through all the modes, and I do kind of dig his jet mode, so we'll see. But something I'm considering, even from time to time, possibly making a replacement disc. And if I do that, I'll show it off and I'll share the files if I can actually do it to a degree that it works. But he's got all the same articulation. He's got his neck can look up and down, his mouth can open and close, head can turn side to side. He's got like his chest. These pieces can angle up and like that, and you can angle the arms out. I guess that only goes the other way for robot mode. That's an arm robot mode articulation. But he's got rationing shoulders. He's got the bicep swivel, hinge elbows, fully articulated fingers, wrist swivel. You can move these you can take these off or move these panels around just like you could, and we'll show them in some other configurations in some of the other modes. Have him walk around on his knuckles. He's got his legs are articulated, but here, because of the way they transform here in Gorilla mode, they're a little limited. He's got the same kind of floating hip panels here, back here, and posable toes. The fins kind of block some of the movement back here. But yeah, he does clip together right here, and I swear I've had him in some positions where this all sat down low enough, and I'm not sure why this isn't happening now, where this all sat down low enough where he was supported on his arms and was fine, and it didn't keep coming loose like that. Because one of the things I like doing when I have gorilla mode or monkey-like figures is I do like to kind of grab him back here and kind of make him go whoa, 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 just for fun. And it's hard to do with him because if you grab him by the backpack, just the slightest amount of movement, instead of moving the whole robot, it unclips this tab back here. That's a minor my enjoyment of it, because otherwise I think it's a pretty decent looking massive gorilla mode. But yeah. So let's take him through some vehicle modes and get to the full robot mode, which is also very fantastic looking. So we'll go. And here he is in his rolling tank mode, truck mode, whatever you want. Not a whole lot of things to do here. He does roll. You can open up his canopy and see a little mechanical detailing inside there, but he rolls, and that's about it. You can flip, like in any other mode, these cannons forward, and you can't even extend them, although the hinges on here, I might want to put some floor polish on, they're a little loose to extend these straight forward. They will balance, but this one especially, too much bumping, and this one will just kind of whoop right down. That's easy enough to fix right here on the hinge, but yeah, just a little loose. And honestly, I think the extended version of these cannons looks way too long. In every version of this, honestly, the only thing that except for the robot mode, I guess it's okay there. But yeah, a lot of fiddling. It's always a bit of a trick to get all the hinges in this backpack. A lot of the rest of it is actually fairly intuitive. It's how this whole backpack assembly rotates and switches with the head up in there, and then these hinges up in here are always a little bit of a pain to remember exactly how everything folds together. But there is his rolling ground vehicle mode, and let's go on to jet mode. And here is his very large, very impressively wingspanned, what they call Wave Rider mode, his jet mode, which is pretty impressive, and I think I like it a little better in black here in this particular configuration. Same as before, you can flip these forward, although they're a little loose, and I think they look a little silly sticking straight forward out of here. Now you can also, and again, there's not a whole lot of articulation in this mode. This is pretty much just swooshable, and once it's all locked together properly, it is pretty swooshable. It's very, like I said, I'm having trouble getting it all in frame here because it's very, very wide. But you can swoosh it. If you want more of a traditional look, you can remove the gun from here, and you can flip his arms around and kind of Superman him out and flip the wings around. Let me just go ahead and do this while it's supported here. Put him back in, around. Get those ratchets in there. And you can have him in more of his classic toy flight mode here, where he's basically just kind of arms out, flying around. Up to you. But that is super awkward to hold and fit on camera, so let's just get going here, right to robot mode. And here he is in robot mode, and it's a very stunning, very attractive paint job on him. You can see he's in his, again, Season 1 standard primal colors of the blue and silver and black and white and gray and red, but just really nicely done. He does have a different head sculpt, which I believe is unaltered. I think it's the same one as the Primal Prime repaint, but he does have the full face mask, more Optimus Prime looking head. And again, you've got some extra articulation. You can lean these up. His arms can fold forward there. He's got a waist joint, although with the backpack locked in, it kind of negates that. You can unlock the backpack. There's a little tab back here. Floating hip panels, but all the same articulation in the arms that you saw in the gorilla mode. The same elbows and such, although these panels are lifted up a little bit. His legs have ratcheting hips in both directions, a thigh swivel. You get a lot more articulation in the legs. They got knees. The feet have a tilt in them. And he's got some armaments down here. Technically, you can deploy these in any of his vehicle modes, but he's got some little missile launchers on the wheel wells here on his legs. And just all in all, a very impressive, like the deco, the Season 1 deco works surprisingly well on this body, and it's very nice. And I kind of expected it would, because Hasbro had already done it with the Power of the Primes Optimal Optimus mold, where they put him in the Season 1 colors as well. It's a deco that works for both the body, and it's just a deco that works overall. I've always liked Season 1 Primal's look. I do feel, again, for the jet mode, the wings make it very impressive. For robot mode, I feel like the original toy and the Power of the Primes toy, the wings ended up being a little smaller than you really would have preferred. Whereas here, I think that these big, fat pancake flippers are a little larger proportionally. But I would love a third party to like be able to just pop this pin out and make a smaller molded plastic wing that you could just peg in there. Maybe if I get any good at 3D printing design, maybe I'll design one and print it. But very nice, very cool. And real quick, here he is with his standard Optimal Optimus paint. You can see the differences in the head molds, although not so much. It's really just here, like the paint makes a difference. It's really just swapping out that faceplate and the eyes. But a really nice recolor of a already pretty great figure. Like I said, it's not perfect. Some of the transformation bits can be a pain, especially the way like the hinges on that backpack. They all have to go in a very specific order in a very specific way in some modes. Well, like any Transformer, but it's just a little confusing on some of the modes, remembering exactly how it has to fold up. Also, I forgot to show off his cannons I was talking about. Now, in this mode, you don't have to worry about them being loose because they rest on the shoulders, but you can flip them up over his shoulders, and they look good like that as weapons. And here, I don't mind if you extend them out a little bit. I still think they're a little cartoonishly long, but they don't look nearly as out of place extended here in robot mode as they do in any of the other modes. But there is NEMESIS / Dark Guerrera. Like I said, the listing listed this as NEMESIS Guerrera, or Guerrera, I don't know how you say it. The box said Dark Guerrera, so I mean, both of them seem to be, I've seen it referred to as both in several different places. Seeing as how it's printed on the box, Dark Guerrera seems like it's probably the more official term for it. But either way, it's a really fantastic figure, and it's going to find a cool place on my shelf because, I really like the Season 1 Primal colors, and it's a nice repaint of an already fun toy.